says that's
in a
supposed to.
residence, and that's been removed, and.
The residence has, yes.
Yeah. So the other one's still running without a CO?
It's got a temporary CO.
So what does that mean? You're waiting on this decision?
What's the address of this one?
It's the only gas station.
But what's the other business that's running out of it?
Upholstery.
And that's not the one I'm talking about, so you
I know that. You're
Okay,
talking about the one
okay.
down at the end of the boulevard.
Okay. So there's an upholstery shop that's been running, okay,
Upholstery and Plum Store.
Yeah. He's the one that wanted to do the drive-through.
that's right.
Yeah, so,
So he bought the property.
Oh, the little
and it was
restaurant?
sold to him as being, kind of a restaurant, this, that, but it had somebody living in the back of it that we didn't know about. It had, on the far, if you're facing the front of the building, the far right is a building I assume is like offices for the place. They have an upholstery shop there, and if you go into the backyard, they have tents set up where they work on them in the backyard, and that's never been a legal business in the first place.
I have never seen anyone going in that part of the school.
Well, I don't think they really do. I mean, I think they probably go in the back.
right back. I thought somebody
But it came
lived
up
there.
when the fire, department did their CO or whatever, all of a sudden this room we're talking about was also filled up with, parts and stuff where it wasn't safe to get through.
Which is another good reason why we're doing the fire inspection.
And they got that part fixed up, and so,
Right.
anyway, so I'm just saying, it sounds like there's some clarity there. I don't have a problem with the upholstery shop myself, but,
I don't think that's auto repair. We're getting into so many interpretations of the.
if you're working on a car, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know car wash was. You're cleaning a car, but if you're putting new seats in it versus, I don't care. I'm just saying.
Maybe we should be more
Cosmetic.
specific.
Are you
Auto
putting-
repair.
Is window tint?
Maybe we should say auto
See, I found
repair
that
and
cosmetic,
tire.
not.
To that too.
Yeah.
See, I found the
Visible?
washing
Yeah.
and the other one cosmetic.
But
It's not
that's
like a
what,
repair, like a
are you
cosmetic
considering
machine there.
upholstery and not over?
I never thought the car wash was included. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Can you come up with a description that would be a garage entirely? Fixing engines and motors and.
And to me, part of that is the fact that, number one, we got so many of them.
Yes.
Number two, those are the items where cars are left outside 24/7. And I will say, one of those upholstery shops is definitely guilty. Like I say, if you go in there right now, there's a couple of cars torn apart, usually a boat here and there. It's all out on the front with the appearance of the boulevard. The other one that we're talking about is totally illegal. None of us even know it's there.
Yeah.
Because it's all taking place in the back.
So then the body shop, what is that?
To me, that is an auto
That is
repair.
auto repair.
And that's,
You should probably say, include that.
that's something that I think somebody should be worried about. EPA
But what is
stuff
gonna
and all
happen
that, too.
to this man's business? Because he's been there for a couple of years now.
And nothing happens.
Okay.
So,
No, so first of all,
they're protected.
which one are you talking about? The one that we're talking about is an illegal business.
No. I'm talking about at the end of the boulevard, the upholstery and
So it's a
oil
brand new
change.
business.
It's been there for a year.
Well, it came after we put in this thing saying they couldn't be there.
The one
So
outside,
then that becomes a problem.
the one by
There should be-
JR Lone Star Park?
The car
Yes,
wash from it.
yes.
Yeah.
So there's two different businesses there, understand?
Yeah.
There's the car wash that has some form of a
Repair
And they do
repair shop going on.
Oil
That's been there a
change,
long time.
Tire change, yeah.
And then next
Okay.
door, there was an office building that is now an upholstery shop.
Right.
That came in after we put the,
Actually, it's been that way a long time. I think they just are more visible with what they're doing. It's been an upholstery, I think it's been an upholstery place longer than
I
it
think-
has been
Oh,
the
it's-
auto repair shop. Yeah.
well, if so, it's a different one, because I met them when they moved in.
Okay, so,
We considered it not to be an auto repair, so we probably fault on that.
So just say it's not, just say it's not, I'm okay with that. It just needs clarity. And it needs to be the same. You don't tell one person they can't, because here's the other problem I have with it, is if you tell them they can't do it, it's not fair to let the upholstery shop come in next door that's doing sofas and chairs. Other than the difference is you do that inside a building, these people are doing it out in the front parking.
But I think it needs to fall on the same guidelines of an auto repair where you can't store cars out front.
Well, they do, and that's the point I'm making, is just to be aware of that fact, and y'all can decide what you want to decide. I'm just telling you, if we're talking about the looks of the boulevard, that's another example of one that came in after we had already talked about this, and they started out with nothing out front, and I'm telling you, I hadn't been by there today, but if you go by there, there's only room for 5 or 6 cars, and there'll be 5 or 6 cars.
Well, Margaret, he keeps saying we had talked about it, we even had 180 days,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
but
about.
that
Moratorium.
time passed, that 180 days.
Yeah, but when we did the ordinance, is what he's talking about, we put auto repair
Yeah.
shops in there.
We had the moratorium against all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
that was
We couldn't,
180
you
days.
couldn't put it one in during that period of time, and they put one in.
During that
period.
180-day period, okay.
So what I'm gonna do, I'll include tire shops, body repairs, and auto repair as not being acceptable in that district. Does not include upholstery shops
Car washes.
or car washes. Are y'all on board with that?
Yep.
Now, I still wonder, I mean, I guess this is y'all's enforcement, but you still have the other one that's been an illegal business all along. So how do you handle that? And I understand somebody bought a business, so that's kind of unfortunate for him, but also, I would think you kind of do your
But
due
see,
diligence.
If it was an existing business doing that, he's
Illegally.
allowed to do it.
Illegal. They didn't have a
First
cer-
person.
No, the first person never got a certificate of occupancy. He was working in the back, you know.
Okay, now we're
Under
talking
the-
about
It
Chevron.
wasn't.
Now we're talking about
illegal
the, now we're talking about the Chevron, but they never made it legal. They never told
But I
me.
mean, we didn't have a moratorium against it, though.
That's right.
We don't even know how long it's been there.
That's my point. We may not have known it was operating, but we didn't have something that prohibited it.
We did say you could pass it on. If somebody
But I
sold
think
it.
all that goes out the window when you're talking about an illegal business. Well,
I don't know.
there was also somebody living in the back, so we're gonna let them continue to live
Well, I
back
mean,
there?
I feel like, you said they now have a temporary?
Yeah, they have a temporary seal for that.
We
Well, I
gave
mean, I
that
guess
to
our
them
option-
while we were sitting, trying to discover, figure out how to do all this.
But just for the, oh, I thought that was just for the gas station.
Well, I'm talking about, all this was discovered, and then they didn't know exactly what to do, because here is a business that's already here, but it's not legal. We didn't seem to have any problem with evicting one person out of this building they were living in the back, and then, of course, the person that bought the building put his manager in there, so he moved in, so.
But he's not still living there.
No, he's not.
But Little Nacho was living in that commercial building. but
Yeah, he
supposedly
was,
couldn't
and he
stop it.
applied for, there is a provision in the code that allows it if it's like their night manager or whatever, that you have to meet certain size and everything. And we went down there and met with him and showed him what he had to have.
There's no 8-liners in those, though, right, Chief?
The last time they had them, they got arrested.
Okay.
Not too long ago.
You
That
do
was
know
how
they
long ago?
return
This
sometimes.
thing could,
No, but how long ago
I
was
think
it?
that the guy you people are talking about.
yeah, that's who we're talking about.
Got arrested.
Wow.
Okay, so are there 8-liners in there or not?
Apparently no.
So to your knowledge, there's not.
Yes. To my
Why are
knowledge.
you saying?
And they were arrested by the county,
There
just
may
for
not
the record.
be currently, but there was.
County has a task force that specializes, they send in undercover people to do the 8-liners and catch them gambling. And we called and told them, within 2 or 3 days, they called us and said, hey, we've got this guy, he's under arrest.
And he did, just for the record, he knew, because with the EDC hat on, I came in there. I told him that there'd been 8-liners in the past, and all of a sudden his eyes, I'm putting 8-liners in there. I said, well, I don't know the laws, I can just tell you the previous person here had 8-liners, and they came in and they took the 8-liners, and my understanding is they arrested them. And he went ahead and put them in there anyway.
The new
And they
guy.
arrested.
The new guy. So the new
They
guy knew
arrested the
this
new
before he
guy?
came in, and then, huh?
No.
And they arrested the new
The
guy?
new guy's been arrested, but
The one
he
you're
brought them
talking
in. Yeah, the guy we're talking about is new, and he brought in 8-liners,